What's going on, you guys? Today I'm really excited to go over this. I've had several people ask some questions to me about whether or not maybe keto is what caused my hormones and all of that to go out of whack for a while. If you haven't been following my journey for a while, you'll kind of there's a few videos that we did further back that kind of sum up what was going on, and one of them is like my whole fitness journey, and we did that a couple months back. So it has a little bit of information of when I started keto, when I started lifting, all of that. So if you guys have questions through this video, you can kind of revert back to that video. So as you know, or as many of you guys know, I am going through some healings, my hormones. I've been working with Ali Miller, all of that kind of stuff. And some people have posed the question, do you think it's keto that has messed up your hormones? So I thought, why not do a video kind of going back to what the issues were that I had, which caused me to start keto in the first place. So I'm going to kind of do a little timeline so you guys can see a little bit of just like the last 4 or 5 years and what's kind of come through those years. So I have a little notebook here, so I'm going to just kind of try and remind myself of the things that I wanted to bring up. But I'm going to take it back to 2014, 2015, when I very first had the reason to want to even start keto. So during these two periods of time, these 2 years, I was going through a lot of pain and discomfort, and I could not figure out what was wrong with me. We did a couple of exploratory surgeries, one to see if I had endometriosis. I had several procedures done. I had tests upon tests upon tests to see what was wrong with me. And during this period of time, I could not get any answers. I could not find any answers. The doctors could not tell me what was wrong with me. So of course they were like, oh, you have IBS. Oh, you have chronic fatigue syndrome. Oh, you have this, you have that, you have the other. But there was no real tests that were telling me what was actually wrong. So during this time, I also didn't have anyone really solid in my life. I wasn't with Robert at the time. I didn't really have that support system that I really needed. I lived on my own. So it was pretty much just me and Jack, my dog. And so during this time, as I'm searching and I'm getting frustrated because tests are coming back fine, I ended up like falling into a depression. I was drinking a lot. I was smoking cigarettes a lot. I was trying to find any way to just forget that anything was going on in the first place. So shortly after that, I got a few diagnoses. Finally, after test upon test upon test, gastroparesis, slow transit colon, IBS. When they did the exploratory surgery for endometriosis, right before that surgery, I had gotten shingles. When they did the surgery, they found a ton of scar tissue holding my intestines to the abdominal wall. And none of these reasons, we didn't have a reason for all of this. And they didn't really know what to tell me what to do except for put me on a specific diet that honestly was just gonna get me into a lot of trouble and give me diabetes eventually. So right after this, I met Robert. We started dating, we kind of started seeing each other, and he had introduced me to keto. So in 2016, 2017, is when I actually started doing keto. I started weightlifting, and my body finally started healing. I saw healing happening. I wasn't bloated like I was. I didn't feel pain as often as I had, and Robert could tell a difference. I mean, there was days where I just literally didn't want to get out of bed because I was in so much pain or I was depressed or whatever. And finally, I got myself out of that. So in 2016, 2017, I saw that healing happen, and I actually felt really good. So during that time, I actually decided, okay, I'm going to compete in bodybuilding. And if you revert back to the video, My Whole Fitness Journey, you guys will kind of see these same steps of what was happening in my fitness journey or my keto journey at that time. But for this, I really want to focus on the way that I felt and what was going on in my life. So with the gastroparesis, with the IBS, with having to go through a surgery to see if I had endometriosis, with all of that stuff came a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort and things like that. So in 2016, 2017, I started to see that pain go away. I started to feel better. I started to feel better mentally, physically, emotionally. Everything was so much better. We moved to Arkansas, and then in 2018, I was like, I'm gonna actually compete in a bodybuilding competition. So the whole prep was really great. You go through the highs and lows of a competition prep in the first place, and your body's at a deficit of calories, and you're putting your body through a lot. There's a lot of hormonal stresses and things going on at that time. So while I was going through this competition prep, I was working a full-time job. I had just switched jobs. I also was doing coaching at the time, and that's when I first started coaching, so I was kind of getting used to it. We started our company Keto Brick. We were traveling 3 hours back and forth every time we had to go make the bricks. We would do launches. Essentially, we weren't sleeping. People were sending angry messages to us a lot of the times, and I was doing the social media, still do the social media, and we just got a lot of hate for not having the site stocked or whatever it was, and it was putting me into these crazy anxiety attacks. And then I did my competition, and Robert proposed to me, so then I had a wedding to plan, and right after my competition, I had gone and done another endoscopy and colonoscopy, and the test came back beautiful. The healing had happened in the last 2 years. From 2015 to 2018, I had been healing. My gut had been healing. My mind had been healing. And I did this test, and they came back beautiful. Everything was beautiful. Keto and weightlifting had literally changed my entire life. The way that I felt, I could actually eat food without feeling sick to my stomach. I mean, it was really an amazing period of time, but then I had all this stress on me. So it was really awesome to get those results back. And that was it was just comforting to know that what I had been doing had been working. So then I was going through all of this stress and all of the emotions of planning a wedding and running a business, and we moved again, and all of these things were happening. People were traveling and visiting us, and we were going to some of our first conferences, and Robert was speaking and I was speaking, and we just had a lot of things that we were doing, a lot of moving pieces, and we weren't sleeping. We were always eating right because we had to track our food, but because I had just finished my competition prep, my hormones were not regulated. I didn't reverse diet. Robert's going through his reverse diet right now, and he will honestly tell you it is almost harder than the prep because you do have the flexibility to eat whatever you want because you don't have that goal at the end of it. I did not stick to it. So I ended up binge eating and going crazy and making myself throw up and going through a lot of this emotional food stuff that I just couldn't get a hold of. And I think a lot of it has to do with all of the stress that I was also carrying. So in 2019, just last year, I went through a major crash. I had a lot of people messaging me on the social media, on YouTube, on Instagram, just telling me how miserable I looked. Robert was telling me how miserable I looked, and I did. People were asking me why I never smiled anymore. I was just about to get married. Why wasn't I happy? And honestly, after going through all of that stress, after not sleeping well every night, after building business after business after business, and doing all the things that we do, and we do it because we love it, I just wanted to keep going. I just wanted to keep pushing because I was enjoying it. I love it. I love what we do. But we just kept pushing. We pushed the boundaries a little bit too much for my body. So 2019, I fell into another depression. I got my hormones checked, and if you guys go back in some of our other videos, you can see all of the hormone results and things like that I go over. And I have been spending the last year trying to heal those hormones. Do I think it was keto that caused my hormones to suffer? Or do I think it was keto that caused me to binge eat? I absolutely do not. I don't think it was keto at all. I think in 2018, we found that keto was healing me. It was healing my gut. It was healing my gastroparesis. It was healing my IBS. My periods are regular now. I have hardly any pain with my periods, whereas before I could not get out of bed. All of those things by 2018 were healed. I was good. I was amazing. But then I put my body through some stress, through some extra things that it was not anticipating. I put it through the biggest deficit I ever had. I had worked out harder than I ever had in my life. I was building businesses. I was finding all these things that I loved and wanted to do, and I just decided to do it all at the same time. I put my body through what it wasn't prepared for. That's why what I'm doing with Lady Savage is so important, because I want to help women and men become the best them that they can be without having to go through everything that I went through. The depression is not fun. The anxiety is not fun. Your adrenals being completely shot and non-existent is not fun. It's not. I never want people to suffer. I never want people to go through what I've had to go through and still struggle with. You know, it's my passion to help people. I've taken a liking to meditation and self-care and really zoning into my nutrition and my fitness plans and what's actually going to work for me and not what some fitness guru told me because they think that they're right. I had to figure out for me what was going to be the best, and I truly 100% believe that if I was not keto on top of everything that I'm doing now, I don't even know if I'd be here. I think that it would be so much worse. I don't think I would have ever gotten out of that first depression that I was in. I don't think I would have ever gotten out of it because I would have had that pain for the rest of my life. I want to share this with you because I don't want people to think, oh, she's got hormone issues and it happened because of keto. No, that's not true at all. I've healed myself from keto and I'm healing right now. I feel really great right now. This is the best I've felt in my entire life. Right now. Because I am in the process of healing. I am keto. I work out. I'm putting my body through the proper things in the proper way. But goodness, did it take me several years to figure it out. I want to be able to help people to realize that little by little, it all adds up to the big picture. And if I had realized that, if I had known that before, maybe I wouldn't have pushed my body to its breaking point. So, do I think that keto has ruined my health? No, I don't. I think that keto has helped me in so many ways that I can't even think about. Do I think that I'd be way worse off if I wasn't keto? Absolutely. Do I think that all of it's from a diet? Maybe not. But do I think a large part of it is because of my lifestyle? Abso-freaking-lutely. Anyways, I really hope that this answered a lot of questions that people may have had of like why maybe I've been struggling or why I've been going through what I'm going through. I didn't even list half of the other things that have gone on in our lives. But you guys don't need to know those things. I mean, the stressors that I shared with you are things that you guys have kind of been on this journey with us through. And there's a whole bunch of other things that were happening all during this period of time that just add to it, because it's life and everyone goes through one thing or another. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope this was really helpful for those who maybe are going through the same thing and questioning, is it my lifestyle? Is it my diet? Is it something that I'm doing with my fitness or my eating? I really don't think so. If you're doing everything you know how, and you've gotten all the help that you can, and you're doing it day after day after day, I think you're on the right track. But feel free, if anyone has any questions or concerns or anything like that, feel free to send me a DM, put a comment below, send me an email. I would be happy to help you figure out what might be the best next step for you in your personal journey, because we're all going to be totally different, and what worked for me may not have worked for you. So anyways, I love you guys so much. I really hope that this was helpful and beneficial for a lot of you who are maybe struggling and questioning yourself right now. For now, I'm going to let you guys go. Love you so much. Bye-bye.